Коллеги, еще раз добрый день.
Once again, good morning. We start our expert discussion, smart cities technologies and possibilities for improving the lives of the city's residents. I'd like to introduce myself and introduce the moderators of this session. I'll be the moderator, and Anna Makarova will be the other moderator. She represents the AGIK group of companies, and I represent Schneider Electric. The key topic for the discussion was caused by tremendous demand for intelligent systems and smart infrastructure. We see a keen interest expressed to smart cities technologies and respective methodologies. The demand comes from businesses and increasingly from government institutions, think tanks. So we see that this topic has been extremely relevant recently. The objective of this discussion would be as follows. Look, all of us are experts who have been working in the area of smart cities for quite some time. We don't need to explain to one another what smart cities are all about. I think the key objective is to share our experience and knowledge and discuss the issues that each and every one of us encountered in the course of implementing projects in Russia. And perhaps we could mostly focus on the obstacles and barriers to a more proactive implementation of smart cities in Russia. What prevents our cities from becoming smarter? So I think this is a key issue I'd like to raise with you and try to find an answer to. We have quite a few representatives of technology companies who implement such projects. We have people from Russian regions and Russian cities, which is good because we can have some live cases presented here. We can hear from them what is their understanding of the smart cities concept. We have a colleague from India, Farooq Mahmood, who will tell us about their experience with implementing smart cities, a tremendous program, extremely relevant and exciting experience. So we gathered a fairly interesting and exciting panel, expert panel, and I hope that the discussion would be useful and successful. With this, I introduce Anna to make a brief introduction. Right. As Maxim suggested, all of us present here know two things. We know that technology solutions are good, are useful because they boost effectiveness of our expenditures, they increase productivity, they reduce costs, and therefore they release financial resources to be used elsewhere. We understand another important thing. Technologies and technological advance is something that is inevitable. This is not the smart city concept in a sense whether we can use it or not. I mean, this is something that is given. We got to understand how fast we can jump on this train. One thing we don't know, one thing we'd like to discuss today, it as follows. We want to understand what are the prerequisites that we have to have in place in our regions to make this concept fly. What are the risks involved? What are the mechanisms and tools that we could employ in order to fully implement and promote this concept? And here, this is where we'd like to benefit from experience of other cities. In terms of risks, well, many experts mention the fact that such projects are long-term, comprehensive, cross-cutting, and there is nothing we can do about it. Besides, many experts stress that institutional issues would also play a major role. It's important to align interests and actions of many stakeholders, many participating agents, and these are the government, vendors, investors, residents, NGOs, sectoral experts, etc. And the key challenge in many countries, in many cases, was exactly the challenge of aligning all those interests. Therefore, would like to ask you in your presentations to focus on the mechanisms and tools by means of which we could somehow mitigate and eliminate those risks. What kind of steps we can make to avoid such risks? Well, we have to have very good coordination in place. We got to benefit from political support. We have to enjoy this support all the way from top to the bottom, from the national all the way down to the municipal level. This is crucial indeed. And also we are to align the existing technologies, existing infrastructure, physical infrastructure with the new and emerging technologies. We have to make these compatible with one another. So we'd like to have this discussion centered around the cases where they succeeded in doing this. We'd like to learn why some succeed, some don't. Why some projects indeed fly, some others die at the pilot stage, and what kind of applied tools we could use to make things happen. Thank you. With this, I wrap up my brief introductory presentation. Look, we have many participants in this session. We'd love to hear from all. Therefore, I urge you to stick to the time limit, 7 minutes per presentation. If we stick to this time constraint, I think everybody will be able to intervene and to come up with questions or comments. So this is what I'd like you to urge. And with this, I'd like to give the floor to Vladimir Korobkin, who represents Skolkovo, and he will tell us about the practice as present in Russian cities. Thank you. Good morning. In fact, I represent Skolkovo Management School and not Innovation Fund Skolkovo. Those are two different structures. Can I have a clicker, please? Now, based on the two introductory interventions, I'd like to emphasize two very important ideas. Anna was absolutely correct when she said that digitalization is a spontaneous process. It is a natural process that happens all by itself, and nobody actually manages this process. There are many actors, many stakeholders involved, and we got to bring them together. And this was one of the ideas behind this study we did, the study called The Digital Life in Russian Regions. And the other message had to do with the word life. Maxim said that we all know what smart cities are about. Well, to some extent this is true, to some extent this is not true. In fact, I had a very interesting discussion on this issue, and my colleague who participated in the discussion said that the key thing that is an obstacle to smart cities is the residents themselves. People prevent cities from becoming smarter. So when we speak about introducing smart cities and smart factories, the key drive is to eliminate people from smart factories. However, smart cities is not something that is supposed to be efficient. Cities are supposed to be good to live in, should be comfortable for residents, and therefore technologies are implemented in cities in a different way. It's impossible to apply the criteria that can be used for factories, for plants, etc. Given this, we wanted to understand how people today in Russian regions use digital technologies. I will not present our report in detail. It's available on our website, both in Russian and in English. Just some key points, if I may. Let's take 15 Russian cities with a population of 1 million people and over. Now, the penetration of digital technologies exceeded 70% in all those cities. Now we see that people have access to the web, to the internet. What do they do with this access? How do they benefit from this? Here we can see the secondary digitalization stage. Businesses, administrations, people start to interact so that to turn those technologies into effective, routine, day-to-day solutions. And the secondary digitalization can bring about three groups of impacts. We can see the advent of regional digital ecosystems. We all know the digital ecosystems tend to have tremendous network impact. I mean, the more participants we have, the more efficient the system is. And if this indeed happens, the regions who are poorer can do the leapfrogging, can do a quantum leap in terms of their development. Digital technologies contribute dramatically to their development. This is the second group of impacts. And the last, third group of impacts has to do with the following fact. Regions compete for residents, and digital technologies can serve as a major factor boosting appeal of such regions. Now, we looked at 7 key dimensions, such as transport, finance, healthcare, administration, education, trade, and media. We measure and demand separately. You know, when we say that digitalization is well developed, we mean that either there are many suppliers of the service, or there are many users of such services, and those are two things that are not identical. Now, we realized that Yekaterinburg, Moscow, and St. Petersburg are the leaders in terms of supply and demand of digital services. St. Petersburg appears to be the most digitalized city in the country. Yekaterinburg outpaces Moscow, for instance. We see that in terms of digitalization, cities differ from one another. There seems to be some stratification. Demand is growing pretty quickly, and besides, demand and supply may not necessarily be aligned. We see that the correlation is pretty weak between the two, and there are major gaps in terms of urban development and industry development. And one key point here is as follows. I'm moving on to our conclusions. So we looked at the correlation of our index with some strict indicators such as GRP per capita or industrial output per capita and so on. We realized two things here. Now, digital supply correlates strongly with the resources cities have. The more resources the cities have, the higher is the degree of digitalization. This is not something that came as a surprise, but this is something that prevents this leapfrogging. In terms of digital demand, it correlates with the life quality index developed by Urbanic, something that residents perceive. So digital demand and digital supply. Well, it's kind of hard to say which comes first, but digital demand is a most important thing that can correlate to the quality of life in the cities. I think this is one crucial takeaway for regional administrations. You know, when people ask why we need digital cities, smart cities, digital services, why promote digital economy, well, very often, and Anna mentioned this quite pertinently, very often people tend to believe that this would be a long-term effort and payback would not come early enough. So from the accounting standpoint, this is not very conducive. However, when in Russia, regions compete for human capital, and this is cutthroat competition, and there is one city in the country that sucks in all the human capital. I'm referring to Moscow. Well, look, Magadan lost 20% of population over the past 20 years, and there are some regions who have lost a lot of people to Moscow and to other major centers. Now, regions have to do something about those developments. Now, digitalization becomes a major factor in competing for human capital. Well, I tried to make it within 7 minutes, and I encourage you to visit our website and make use of our report in both languages there. Thank you. Thank you for your attention. Thanks a lot. A most interesting study indeed. Now, colleagues, Astrakhan, Ulyanovsk, do you have any questions with respect to this study, to this paper? Well, in this case, as a moderator, I will ask a question. I wonder if there are any studies dealing with the impact of the level of digitalization and its relation to GRP, gross regional product. Let's say a city or a region invests in digitalization. What kind of benefits they reap? How GRP may change due to this? Well, thank you very much. A very pertinent question. Now, thing is that there are certain lags in terms of GRP presentation. We still don't know what the GRP was in 2015. Rosstat is very slow in publishing the data. Now, there is some correlation, but it's static. It's somewhat premature to speak about dynamic correlation. But if we continue our research, if we continue our study and plan, in fact, we plan to do this together with our colleagues in India and China, and we will try to compare Russian regions to the situation in the two key developing markets in the world. Well, I think we will try to find a relationship between GRP changes and changes in digitalization. Yes, thank you. I think this might be very useful in order to convince our regions in the need to promote digitalization. I have a question, if I may. In fact, the correlation is extremely interesting. I represent Krasnoyarsk region, the Agency of Innovative Development. Now, I wonder, given the risks involved, given the role of administrations, and you referred to this when you talked about constraints, I wonder if you have any idea as to how this relates to the planning horizon. If we look at the situation in Russia, and you mentioned the deplorable situation with the outflow of population, well, to what extent we'd be in a position to somewhat tweak and adjust our planning horizons? Well, we sometimes consider digitalization as service, as a supportive services to the things we do. So what kind of recommendations you can come up with in terms of planning horizon? Well, thank you very much. It's a huge question. It's very difficult to come up with a brief answer. Well, suffice it to say that planning horizon is extremely important, and the further we look into the future in terms of planning, the more we should emphasize, say, competition for human capital. This is not something that you can address within 1 month or even within several years. Overall, I believe that currently Russia plans its activities, its development up to 2035. So this is the planning horizon. We plan for the next 15 to 17 years. And I think indeed it pays to look at comprehensive strategies using such planning horizon. Well, it would be a good thing to adjust our budget and budgeting efforts and make them aligned with this planning horizon. Yeah, I do realize what you're talking about. It's very difficult to bring together budgeting and long-term planning. Well, you mentioned the 7 dimensions or 7 measures. Well, to some extent, these 7 indicators align well with the indicators employed in other countries, including Japan. But you never mentioned environment or environmental issues. Look, I represent Krasnoyarsk, and this is something that is very relevant for our region. Thank you. Indeed, you are right. Environment is something that should be considered as background, and we got to understand how digital technologies could help address environmental issues. Well, that's exactly why we didn't include the energy sector into our model. We do understand that the implementation of state-of-the-art technologies would produce major impacts in the energy sector, but what people care about is to have their apartments heated and lit, and they don't care whether we use smart grids or not. Thank you very much. In fact, in terms of planning horizon, Ile-de-France, the central region of France, or Greater London area in 2010, when they developed their long-term plan, well, they looked at the next 20 years, so 15, 20 years. This is what we call long-term planning. This is the kind of planning horizon we have in mind. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. And I also would like to comment, if I may. Well, the regulatory and legislative framework may not be well aligned. In fact, budgeting and the lack of the alignment of budgeting and planning might be a risk. So we got to be mindful of this. This is one issue we got to address together with other stakeholders. Okay, now we're going to listen from Ksenia Mokrushina from the Skolkovo Management School, and she will tell us about the implementation of smart cities technologies in Russia and globally. Now, I hope it works. I don't think I'll be able to tell you about the Russian cities. Well, the organizers asked me to tell about international, global experience, to come up with some key recommendations, some lessons learned. You know, when I started to address this issue, I got scared at first because there is virtually no comprehensive analysis globally. There are some lessons learned based on specific greenfield projects, development projects, and so on. But there's never been an attempt to compare smart cities to other cities and other regions. There's never been an attempt to compare regions and territories implementing smart cities technologies globally. There's never been a benchmarking effort. Yet we got lucky. The EU did a major study covering over 250 smart cities. China does a similar study. In fact, I'm eager to hear from our Indian colleague. I wonder if he's going to talk about the outcomes of the benchmarking of 100 cities participating in smart cities project. Anyway, I will try to come up with some key ideas, key messages I managed to produce for this forum. Let me come up with one caveat. I'm not talking about smart projects. I'm talking about smart cities. Now, if you look at the slide, smart city is not an outcome of specific pinpoint smart projects. Smart city is a huge process with long planning horizons, and there are no common definitions that could be applied across the board. I mean, each city defines the notion of smartness for itself. Neither vendors, nor investors, nor companies are in a position to do this. It is the cities who actually define the process for themselves. It's their vision of the quality of life the cities would like to achieve, and the tools and approaches through which this could be achieved. And this is where we can speak about environment. If we want to have good environmental quality, well, a smart city would be a city that takes care of the natural resources, is carbon neutral, and so on. Now, each city follows its own route, and there is no silver bullet, there is no recipe that would apply universally to all Russian cities. I mean, it's up to each city to decide for itself. Now, Here you see the stages in a smart cities development. Everything starts with ad hoc or a pilot, if you will, project. Then you go to opportunistic phase. In fact, the bulk of smart cities who implement smart programs, smart projects, both in China and in Europe, are at the initial stage. They are either at ad hoc or at opportunistic stages. So once again, it would be wrong to claim that there are some best practices or benchmarks that we could look at and could lean on. Once again, please note the difference between smart technologies, smart projects, and smart cities. So let us not forget about it in our discussion. Now, these slides, and I will try to show them as quickly as possible, give you an idea of the trends and challenges smart cities across the world are facing. These are the challenges in terms of financing, business model development, management, policy, and Maxim. Please let me know if I go beyond the time limit allotted to me, because we'll be able to discuss all those issues later during Q&A session or discussion. Key instruments. Again, I'm eager to hear from Mr. Mahmoud. In fact, in many countries, we see federal level or national level programs and national level financing that supports R&D for urban development, financing that supports sectoral programs in transport, energy, environment, and so on. So without such national level programs, it's next to impossible to develop smart cities. Vendors also come up with some investments. There are some demonstration projects pursued by private companies to promote their businesses. Private investment, including PPP arrangements in various formats such as BOP and others. Some incentives that can be used in order to lure private sector, such as subsidies, credit guarantees, various funds, and so on. Joint ventures. Another important and relatively new feature. That is when a municipality sets up a joint venture with a telecom, and the telecom is no longer just a provider of telecom services. They share risks, and they invest jointly with the municipality into smart city projects. Municipal budgets, municipal bonds, green bonds, but well, this is something that is used mostly in the EU. ESCO contracts, well, no. These are used in the energy efficiency sector, and clearly there is a link between green technologies, energy efficient technologies, and smart technologies. Now, tax increment financing, another tool. This is something that is not available in Russia. This is a situation when a developer, an investor, develops a territory using some smart solutions, and then government or municipality reimburses the amounts spent by the investor. So in fact, the city reimburses the taxes paid by the investor. Crowdfunding, another feature.
That is again something that we see quite a bit of. In-kind partnerships is another tool. Many companies may not make financial contribution. However, they provide human resources. They provide their knowledge and expertise. The key challenge that Anna has mentioned earlier today is to try to alleviate the risks. The risks will always be out there. One should understand that any smart city project And then again, look at these circles over here. They show different benefits and different levels of benefits created through smart cities. In the center, you see the uh, benefits associated with smart solutions. The second circle shows what a city or a country can get uh, through the economies of scope and scale. And then finally, the biggest circle includes all positive externalities and multipliers that can be seen in long term. We're talking about benefits for the entire economy, for the entire business community. The main challenge that I see is to adjust funding to the mechanisms that can bring uh, benefits of different depth and different level. We should understand uh, who will be the beneficiaries at each phase, and we should make adjustments to our funding programs in an appropriate way. Of course, we would need grant financing uh, to support projects that have unclear risk profile, uh, projects that have long payback periods. But at the same time, those projects may be significant for the economy in general. Grant financing can be provided by national governments. Long-term structural funding can be offered by development banks like VEB. Um, European Investment Bank. They are already involved in projects that have clear but very long payback periods. Then commercial funding. There are opportunities for that as well, where the break-even and payback periods are acceptable for commercial banks. Now, the key challenges that cities are faced with all over the world include the following: forecasting, calculation, communication of the project benefits to investors, and financing organizations. We are still not very good with cost benefit analysis, and that is true for cities all over the world. In fact, people have to learn. Uh, to use such analytics. There are challenges associated with monetization and benefit attribution. There's no single client, there is no single beneficiary in many such projects, which makes funding more of a challenge. There is not sufficient flexibility and versatility of financial models. So Russian cities would really have to do a good job to make it happen. I'm sorry, we're slightly behind schedule. Well, okay, I can stop here, and I'm going to leave you a copy of my presentation. We have many important takeaways. We have information on some key business models and on other things that make very good sense to me. The most important thing that I want to cover is national policy. We have representatives from federal ministries. I hope Artyom will share his thoughts. We have colleagues from India. This is very nice. Many Chinese cities are now doing regional projects. They work together in many different ways. In the European Union, there are many projects which are conducted in coordination. So This is one of the key things whether we need a national policy for smart cities development. I think it's an important point. Thank you, Ksenia. You made a very good point. That is, financial mechanisms are an important factor um, in support of smart cities in Russian Federation. And we are now in the state that is not very encouraging. Another interesting observation, there's no best practices that would apply to every geography. We in Russia need to develop our own methodology or adjust international best practices to our situation. And now we're going to pass the floor to our colleague from India, Mr. Farooq Mahmood, who will tell us about smart cities in India. Over to you.
Am I audible? Thank you. Just a brief background about myself. I have a real estate background. I've been in the business for about 3.5 decades, and I'm currently the president-elect of a global organization known as FIAPSI. FIAPSI is an acronym in French, and for the Federation of Immovable Properties, the International Real Property Federation. I'm accompanied here by Mr. Mikhail Gurin, who is now the current president of FIAPSI Russia. And I'm here to share more of my experiences. First, I'd like to bring greetings to you from India. I'm not here to teach you people, but more to understand and learn from your experiences on what you people have done and how we can emulate the best practices that you people are doing to make our country and the world a better place, a safer place, a greener place to live in. In July 2014, our newly elected Prime Minister of India, Mr. Modi, announced his goal to deliver 100 new smart cities. By 2024, he also announced a 1.2 billion in government funding to support this goal. Just click it for you. Thank you. The plan is not to build 100 brand new cities, but instead to build satellite cities near existing urban areas, to upgrade existing and mid-sized cities, and to build settlements along industrial corridors. Prime Minister Modi's announcement responds to India's tremendous growth and rapid urbanization. By the year 2030, 600 million people are expected to live in one of India's cities. This is a bold and worthy goal. India's rapidly growing population has put tremendous stress on our resources. The new methods are needed to cope with this growth. The Smart Cities initiative is the centerpiece of Modi's urban agenda. These cities will attract foreign investment and jobs, and in Modi's words, be symbols of efficiency, speed, and scale. These are the three takeaways that he specified. Efficiency, speed, and scale. While the parameters for being a smart city have been scoped out, almost immediately, interest was generated from private investors, both inside and from around the world. We've had companies like Cisco, IBM, and maybe about 20 other global companies who are bidding and who've been successful in getting these contracts for some of these jobs. Next, please. This was a 35-minute presentation, but my colleague here has cut it down to 7. So please forgive me if I have some fill in the blanks that you don't understand. We could discuss it offline, and I'd be more than happy to share it with you. This conclave also designed 4 key factors of a smart city. The first, the institutional infrastructure. This refers to the activities related to the planning and management of city systems. This includes good communication, a focus on incentives rather than enforcement, and a focus on comprehensive planning versus a specific sector. The second key factor is physical infrastructure. This refers to a stock of efficient and intelligent housing stock, public transportation, utility services such as water, sewage and common systems. I don't need to tell you about this. Each of these is integrated through the use of technology and have a 24/7 availability. There is a strong focus on both supply and demand. The social infrastructure element relates to components that support. These include jobs, education, healthcare, and security. It also includes entertainment and recreation. Together, these elements determine the quality of life that a city provides. Next, please. Lastly, the economic infrastructure features in about an environment that attracts investors and creates employment opportunities. This is most important. Cities can identify their potential for generating economic activity by analyzing existing strengths to find the gaps. Examples of economic infrastructure includes industrial parks, export process zones, IT parks, financial centers, logistic hubs. You need to go back one slide. Appeal for smart cities. Next, please. While the concept of a smart city may sound appealing to everyone, they are being developed all around the globe. India is highly motivated in this area. Not only is our population growing and set to overtake China as the world's most populous country in the next 2 decades, but our rural population is declining. Our cities need to create housing for 120 million people in the next 6 years. There's a lot of migration from rural to urban. Today, Indian cities struggle to provide even basic facilities such as water, transportation, sewage treatment to residents. The quality of urban services will deteriorate sharply by 2030 if current trends persist. The problem extends to affordable housing. In 2007, supply of affordable homes was 5 million units, but the demand was 30 million units. In 2030, the supply will be 12 million units with a demand of 50 million units. There's so much of a short supply to get the housing. This growth population is putting tremendous strains on our energy resources. We currently have a dangerously high dependency on resources that are being depleted. These same resources are also polluting our cities. It is not only in India's best interest, but also in the world's interest for India to embrace smart use of energy. Our cities are driving economic growth, evidenced by a growing middle class, but we are failing to provide a satisfactory quality of life to most residents. Anyone who has visited India can attest to the congested roads in our cities, making life dangerous for pedestrians and cyclists. And finally, our urban poverty levels are rising. Even as natural poverty declines, the inequality of incomes is increasingly apparent. These factors make India ripe for embracing smart city technologies. Next. planning for smart cities is a very capital intensive and estimates are vary greatly. According to some experts, smart cities will require at least $60 billion of investment for basic and back-end infrastructure. The investment is projected to generate jobs for at least 200,000 people per city. The most recent figure I came across was from TechSky Research Market on the 100 Smart Cities initiative. It estimates that Smart Cities project will require investments of around $2 trillion for development of trunk and internal infrastructure in the 100 planned cities. Songdo in South Korea is a centrally planned data-driven city of 100 million square feet of over 1,500 acres. Its cost is estimated to be about 35 billion. A similar one that I would like to share with you would be the IT Valley in Portugal, which includes 100 million sensors to monitor and adjust electricity, water, and transport for a population of over 225,000 people. This is a model that we are emulating back in India. The cost for just 225,000 people is running between $8 to $10 billion. While the upfront investment is significant, once a smart city can collect data from sensor networks, this information can be used to develop services at a much lower cost. India, as you are all aware, is the IT capital of the world, where the information technology, most multinational companies are based here, and we are cost effective and we're 20% the cost of what the whole world would charge. So we are trying to emulate to pull down the prices to make sure that we can do it in a homegrown process and doesn't cost that expensive. Chicago has more than 600 data sets for the help of the city to identify needs and opportunities. All the connected technology helps to predict, prepare, and solve problems. As smart cities develop in India, sharing data collected from smart sensors will help city administrators deploy sophisticated services without encouraging major development costs. This will help speed development, but we're not there yet, so let's talk about financing. I have another module to share. Do I have 2 minutes to? Yeah. Okay. Gujarat International Financial Tech Center, shortly known as GIFT City. Ahmedabad, generally referred, this base is being developed on 900 acres. It is built as one of the country's first smart cities. It will feature remote management of utilities from a single command center and make use of data, analytics, and real-time monitoring and services. And it will provide high-quality infrastructure to woo finance and technology firms from India and across the globe. GIFT will be designed specifically to have a special economic zone to attract foreign investment. It will include an international education zone, entertainment zones, hotels, convention centers, technology parks, etc. Commercial development is the primary focus of GIFT City, with major built space dedicated to offices. The commercial land use encompasses offices for financial and related services and the regular thing that goes along with it. There will also be a social facilities category which includes such things as health centers, communication hubs. Required emphasis is given towards essential housing facilities, which will be more in the form of studios, apartment for employees working in GIFT's special economic zone. The ongoing construction of GIFT has had a considerable impact on prices and around the area. Prices of apartments were around $44 per square foot, have shot up to $73. Neighboring communities are also reaping the benefits of the GIFT City. They have seen their own price appreciation as much as 30 to 40% annually. Local experts said the way going forward, they can look for a 10 to 15% annual rise in property prices. I'm not going to share more examples of other cities like Wave City, but what I will try and tell you is where we are today. Regarding the vision of the 100 new smart cities, the ambitious dream of building 100 smart city has not been much action on the ground as many have hoped. Some points the government have not yet been providing clear guidelines in certain cases and a framework to help investors to do business. Smart cities need a sustainable roadmap, and many look at the government to provide trunk infrastructure. Clarity is needed and has been promised by the government. The cities will adapt to protocols to develop individual plans and conduct open discussions for projects. As I mentioned to you earlier, IBM and Cisco, Siemens are some of the people who've signed contracts to provide the infrastructure for this. Experts feel that the biggest barrier in implementing smart city projects around the world has been access to finance and uncertainty of new operating models. Also, there is much debate whether resources should go to building new smart cities or investing in existing cities to make them smart. You need to make the existing cities smart, and at the same time, you also need to create new smart cities. Existing cities need to be made smarter because they already have a lot of problems, and they need to be tackled because they have a lot of potential. Green standards like LEED Platinum are one of the basic things that are being taken into effect when we are designing these cities. Most agree there's plenty of low-hanging fruit. Some of the 100 smart cities may come from fixing the lack of basic amenities and infrastructure in existing cities to make them more efficient. While the focus may be on smart cities, India must respond to those in dire need of affordable housing. Smart cities and affordable housing do not need to be separate initiatives. Both can be accompanied by a single model. The average age of a first home buyer in India is around 28 years of age. Between 25 to 30 is the average age of the first home buyer in India. And the key buyers come from the information technology sector. Indian smart cities. Next, please. The title of this presentation is Urbanization, Reality or a Dream. For India, urbanization is a reality. Some 600 million people will call urban India home by the year 2030, with a total estimated population of 1.4 billion people. We must take advantage of the government's effort to build smart cities, and we must ensure these cities are sustainable, inclusive, safe, and environmental friendly. India's urban population contributes to over 60% of India's GDP. The number is projected to grow to nearly 75% by the year 2030. Additionally, it is estimated that the labor force will grow by 270 million workers, with 70% of that growth concentrated in urban centers. And while the development of smart cities is in the very early stages of development, it must become a reality to make the most for the push of the smarter cities. That the cities and national leaders need a comprehensive urbanization strategy. This strategy must take advantage of the latest developments in technology, create employment opportunities, and support economic activities that will improve the quality of life. To grow efficiently and sustainably, India must focus on improved mobility and access, good urban design, equitable land management, accessing required financing. In doing so, we will improve the quality of life for millions of our citizens. Thank you very much. This will be more of a learning from me to take back what you have and what you are doing than to tell you and to share with you the experiences that what we are planning to do and where we are. I thank you and the Gaidar Forum for giving me this opportunity for presenting this brief program to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mahmoud. A very interesting presentation. It's a shame we didn't have enough time to hear it in full. It's interesting how similar our main issues: financial issue and operating model issue, which is actually the case for Russian Federation as well. So, nevertheless, the smart city topic is different in other countries. Issues seems to be similar in different countries, like Russia and India. Коллеги, У нас немножечко мы выбиваемся пока из графика.
We are slightly behind schedule, so I suggest that we skip the Q&A session immediately after presentations. Maybe we will make time for that later. Now I'm going to pass the floor to Svetlana, who is an advisor to the governor of Ulyanovsk region. She has a very interesting presentation. Ulyanovsk region, a smart region. First time we hear about that. Thank you very much for inviting me over. I do have a big presentation too. However, I have to cut it short. And in fact, we may show more slides than we can actually talk about. I'm going to tell you what kind of steps we have made towards a smart city in our region. We are finalizing the concept of a smart region. Why we're talking about a smart region rather than a smart city, which is a popular concept today? We need a smart territory which will include several smart cities. The concept is designed for the period between 2017 and 2030. That is a part of our development strategy. This is our big plan for the development of city spaces. Let me tell you a bit more about this concept. This is a framework document which includes several lines of development. In this concept, we have identified several important areas like the general economy, sustainability, education, healthcare, urban development, and several other things. In each of those domains, we have identified targets that we want to get to. And in each line, we have put together a number of projects.
Third, we set out the key stages for implementation. In fact, we see three such stages. First, between 2017 and 2019, developing specialized infrastructure in our region, selection and development of priority projects, development of regulatory framework, proposals in terms of financing. Stage 2, 2019-2025, implementation of the selected priority projects, implementation of pilots within the concept, and the final stage, 2025 to 2030, comprehensive implementation of all the concept stages, taking into account the experience gained during the previous stages. Now, how are we going to proceed? How are we going to prioritize our action? There are two key paths for the introduction of smart technologies into cities. That is, employment of state-of-the-art technologies to address relevant challenges and setting up a city or a territory from scratch. As Ksenia rightfully mentioned, smart technologies are not smart cities per se. We plan to implement the two approaches using the following logic. Each city faces a host of key challenges. We understand that it's impossible to do everything at once. We got to prioritize. We got to pace our investments. Therefore, at first, we are to focus on two key cities, Ulyanovsk and Dimitrov. We will try to see what kind of key urban challenges and problems can be addressed using smart technologies. One of the criteria we intend to use would be the possibility to use the available solutions and merging those solutions on the basis of an urban or regional platform. We've got about 2 dozens of major information systems present in those cities that could be employed to promote smart city concept. In Dimitrovgrad, there is a unified system to gauge energy use, and there is a smart network used to manage street lighting system. Now, we plan to build from scratch a new district in one of our cities. This would be a part of what we call our technology valley, and it enjoyed a lot of support from the Federal Economic Ministry. Not far from the city of Ulyanovsk, based on the nuclear energy and aircraft manufacturing clusters, we plan to develop an innovation cluster, which would help to promote technology-based economy. This is where we intend to bring together science, business, and education. This facility would serve as a business incubator to promote high-tech production technologies. We plan to build a college and a campus there with all the recreation facilities. Some digital library will be available there, and so on. Santor is the name of this smart city located on the banks of the Volga River. The residents of this smart city would be scientists, academics, students. We put together urban development plans for this smart city. In fact, one key request that we have to all our partners is to employ smart technologies since the very beginning. We are to ensure safe and secure city. In fact, the idea is to bring down risks to humans to minimum. Second, the environment should be as comfortable as possible. All the components and elements of this environment would be integrated into one network. Then we plan to roll out e-based healthcare services. We'll monitor the health of the residents, we'll collect and analyze information about their health status, and this would help to maintain health of the residents and forecast possible health conditions. This is what we plan to implement since the very beginning of the construction of this district, and in fact the district occupies 260 hectares. We plan to complete this project within the next 3 years. Another component is e-mobility. This is what we plan to implement on stage 2. We're going to launch the stage once the area of the smart city reaches several thousands of hectares. And on the slide, you see the various components of this e-mobility concept. We plan to lean on the best global practices. We'll look at the best approaches employed in the US, in Asia, in Europe. We invite colleagues from Italy, Belgium, France, and Russia to help us with designing and implementing those stages. Now, we intend to use renewable energy sources mostly, so that to be as green as possible. The idea is to employ wind generation facilities, and in fact, we started to build the largest wind farm in Russia, in our region. Indeed, this all would require tremendous resources. However, building a new city from scratch is less expensive than trying to improve the existing city, trying to bring it up to the new standards. We intend to employ a PPP approach, and we hope that the national budget would also support this effort. We plan to engage in earnest in 2018. A law on technology value will be passed in our region. We'll come up with a system of incentives for private companies. This is where we intend to use Skolkovo experience. We will try to introduce web-based technologies in all areas of residents' life. We still are seeking external partners. We're willing to invite interested parties. And look, if you can come up with such a company, such a partner, would be happy to start negotiations with such a partner. We understand the benefits of such partnership. One key prerequisite would be for the partner to finance implementation and not design stage. This would be the first experience for us, and obviously a lot will have to be changed and adjusted en route. We'd hate to use mono-brand solutions. We are not ready to work with a solo partner. We would like to work with several partners. In fact, we invite not just majors, we also invite small companies, small startups. What is important for us is to have such partners on board. It's important so that they are located in this valley. We are happy to be the key client for them, and we'd be happy to provide access to the markets for them. I'm sorry for reading out my presentation. I want to expose you to as much information as possible. In fact, the complete text of my presentation is available, and I'd be happy to provide you with access to it. And I'd like to invite you all in late June to Ulyanovsk, where we will have the 4th General Assembly of the Global E-Governments Association. The city of Ulyanovsk is the vice president of this assembly, and the members of this global organization are over 100 cities of the world, including Indian cities. In fact, India occupies a leading position in this body, and the idea is to improve people's lives based on ICT and web-based solutions. So these would be the issues that we will be addressing in Ulyanovsk in late June, and this is something that we discussed today during Gaidar Forum. So we're open for cooperation, and please consider coming in late June to our city. We plan to have over 500 attendees from over 100 countries. Thank you. Any questions? Well, Svetlana, thank you very much indeed. Let's take up a couple of questions. Ksenia? Svetlana, I wonder why you decided to start a greenfield operation. Why you decided to start from scratch instead of trying to get the existing territories and cities smarter? Well, we looked at the situation, and as you said, we could move in parallel. However, we have a special economic zone on the territory of the Ulyanovsk region, and there are a number of investors, residents in this area, like Bridgestone and some other companies. And this green valley, this technology valley, would serve as this smart settlements, a first such settlement in our region. We talked to international companies, we talked to a Belgian university. Colleagues from Belgium came to Ulyanovsk, they made presentations, and that's why we decided to come up with our technology valley. We started to go ahead with a greenfield project. As I said, all the necessary infrastructure is in place, and agglomeration mentioned by a colleague from India would also be present. We'll have connectivity with the city of Ulyanovsk and Dimitrov. If we use high-speed transit system, it will take no more than 20 minutes to get to Ulyanovsk. In fact, Ulyanovsk, the city of Ulyanovsk is kind of IT capital for our region and for this country, I think. We have a lot of companies that export their products globally, and they work with Russian vendors too. Thank you. Let us move on. I'd like to give the floor to Galina Ganeeva, Vice President of Mastercard. Good morning, distinguished colleagues. Once again, let me congratulate you with the new year. Well, when the two words or two concepts such as smart cities and Mastercard are used together, I see that people are puzzled. Indeed, we do not build cities, we don't build infrastructure, but our technology helps to create smart cities and gradually move from smart cities to smart regions. This is what we are doing in Russia at the moment. Colleagues from Skolkovo mentioned that at present there is no clear definition for a smart city. I'd like to point out three aspects that we observe in the international practice. Well, a smart city is a city capable of integrating data, and not just integrating, but doing this for decision-making purposes, for forecasting purposes. Mr. Farouk referred to Chicago experience. Well, I encourage you to look at the interview Brent Berman from Chicago and look at the level of forecasting models employed in the city. And another feature is personalized or individualized communication with residents. While technologies are, of course, important, but what is really important, what is crucial, is how people feel being in a city. To what extent the city is comfortable, to what extent the city is capable of producing a nice environment for me as a resident. So I encourage all of you to pay more attention to people, to residents, to your clients, if you will. We look at a city as a service. In the majority of cases, it is not necessary to build a new store. It is sufficient to arrange a service of, say, products delivery to the customers. And this is very much in line with a study done by Skolkovo when you looked at the current situation in Russian regions. We do a project in Russia. I will not talk about our international or global projects, although we do work with almost all major cities in the world. We regularly visit smart city congresses. We're present in more than 40 Russian regions. We have an agreement with the Ulyanovsk region. We are in active dialogue with Krasnoyarsk, and I'm going to talk about our experience with Tatarstan. In terms of services, we split them into several categories. First, these are the services that help to save budget resources. And we have quite a few projects here, and we have a clear understanding as to how, say, this could be done in education. We work with In fact, over 200 schools in Russia have been covered by this project. We rolled out a financial literacy program for students. Besides, regions collect information needed to do effective forecasting and save budget resources. And this is where we enjoy full understanding on the part of the regions. And I'd be happy to meet you on the margins of this discussion and take this issue further. Now, we talked about smart cities with the colleagues before we got into the room, and it's been quite some time since St. Petersburg Economic Forum, and last year we implemented a campus project with the Moscow State University. In fact, there are many projects in Russia, and I'm referring to the MSU, Moscow State University, because this was the first experience when the instrument, the card that we offered to the students, is a project we implemented. And this is the card that can be used not only on campus, but across the city of Moscow. On top of education, we deal with healthcare. This is a new area for us. This is something we tested last year in Tatarstan. Again, this is an area that allows the region to save tremendously. Here we speak about services available to citizens. This is about monitoring the use of the various drugs and medicines. And I'm going to show you a brief video. You'll be able to see how our cards can be used in healthcare sector. Social protection, another important area. Well, the second group of services are aimed to improve quality of life. And this is where we can mention our transportation projects. So this is something that we do with many Russian regions. I'm sure you can imagine how easy it is for a person moving from one city to another, from one region to another, to use a card without having to think of where to get a proprietary card endemic to this specific city. So individual would just see a symbol of contactless payments, uses his or her card, and this saves time and effort. There are a lot of services in Tatarstan intended to make lives of people easier. You know, this is precious when in order to get some benefits. Individual doesn't have to spend days and days waiting in lines and connecting the various documents and so on. Everything could be done electronically now, and this is what they did in Tatarstan in the course of implementing e-government project. Now, security is another important area. Schools are not just about learning. Schools are about safety and security too. And parents see when kids enter school buildings, when they leave those buildings, and so on. Now, in terms of healthcare, we can also mention a service through which we can help save people's lives. I mean, let's say you get a heart attack and the doctor on an ambulance that arrived to the site can use the person's card to get all necessary data and information about the individual. Perhaps I can ask you to show you the video about the project we launched in Tatarstan last year. Very often people ask me about our projects, current projects and future projects, but as you may know, the devil is in details, and the project I'm about to refer to is indeed unique, not just for Russia, but for the world at large. I mean, nowhere in the world you'll be able to see such functionality compared to what we offer. People can use e-signature in order to get a service, and I think the video will give you a pretty good idea of how an individual can get this card so that obtain access to all the services. I mean, it takes only 8 minutes. I understand. I remember how long it took to get all necessary information from all the various databases, all the various government agencies. Normally, it would take more than 30 days. Now in Tatarstan, it takes only 8 minutes. Now the card would contain all the information about the individual, about his or her pension status, health insurance information, and so on. And the card is issued. Now let's look at the video. In 2016, the government of Tatarstan, Mastercard, together with Sberbank and Akbar's Bank, launched a major technology and infrastructure project called the Card of Tatarstan Residents. The implementation of state-of-the-art payment technologies and cashless payments brings about a lot of benefits for the governments, cities, and residents. As of today, in the city of Zelenodolsk, 80% of stores and outlets use contactless cards. The food market of the city is the first such market in Russia where you can effect all the payments and do all the transactions with one touch. Multi-service Mastercard becomes crucial in this respect. It makes payments for products and for other services very easy and enjoyable. It brings together the capabilities of a bank card and non-payment functions. It is an ID. It is a travel document. It is a health insurance policy. It is a loyalty card. This is a card that is safe, easy to use, and free for all residents of Tatarstan. To obtain a card, one has to get to a branch of Sberbank, Akbar's Bank, or Social Protection Office, or Employment Office. Within 8 minutes, all the information is uploaded on the card, and a picture of the holder is embossed on the card. And you can get a better understanding of the card by visiting our website. Well, this card is a special value for students, pensioners, and families with children. Let's look at how we could use the card to arrange a visit to a doctor. There is a terminal at the healthcare facility through which you can select a time for a visit. The doctor uses e-signature to ascertain the visit and issues a recipe. You can bring this recipe to a drugstore, and again, the recipe is electronic, and there's going to be a lot of discounts available to you. Now, this card is invaluable and irreplaceable for social protection purposes. An individual can file necessary applications and use e-signature in the process. There is no need to waste time waiting in lines. There is no need to physically visit the various offices. Individuals can get all the information about subsidies and benefits available to them. Contactless technology allows to pay for all your purchases instantly. Another important feature of the card is the loyalty partnership program. Mastercard believes that today's payment technologies help create a smart city of the future, a city which is comfortable and safe. This is the kind of experience I'd like to share with you. While there are many other services that are not mentioned in this brief video, for instance, special children food formula that could be obtained through this card. We're ready to roll out this project in other regions. We're ready to partner with various cities. Let's together make our cities smart, safe, and comfortable. Galina, thank you very much indeed. A most interesting project. In fact, this is a project which is pretty attractive from the economic standpoint and social standpoint too. Your Tatarstan experience is indeed precious. We're somewhat behind the schedule. We're 15 minutes behind the schedule, so I suggest we should move on. And I urge you to be more focused so that everybody had a chance to speak. We still have quite a few exciting presentations to hear. Perhaps we can save some time for Q&A. And now, let's hear from Mr. Polumordvinov, who represents the administration of the city of Astrakhan. He will tell us about sustainable development of smart cities. Thank you, Maxim. You did mention that, in fact, almost everybody knows what smart city is all about and why smart cities are needed. I think all the speakers today tried to think of why we are trying to promote smart cities technologies. Well, in a nutshell, a smart city is a platform, is an objective, and the objective is to make lives of residents more comfortable. That is, to change the urban environment. I represent the administration of the city of Astrakhan, and our objective, our goal, is to address the challenges and problems faced by our city. Just as Mr. Mahmoud mentioned, that is to promote those projects. The idea is to change the overall urban environment within the existing city. Well, it's good to do something from scratch. It's wonderful. However, fortunately or unfortunately, we have some legacy. We live in the cities that have been around for years, decades, and centuries, and we have to address the challenges faced by those cities. And smart cities are a very useful and powerful tool to attack those problems. Last year, we presented a project called Astrakhan, a Sustainable Development City. And this is very much in line with what state leaders talked about during Paris meeting in December. And together with the major international institutions such as the UN, UNIDO, UNDP and others, we put together the project. We invited their experts. We leaned on their expertise and knowledge, and this served as a foundation for our project. I understand that we don't have much time for my presentation. I'll try to be brief. In fact, one of the key areas for us is to change the governance system. We are to fine-tune our governance system. We are to be in a position to evaluate performance of the various municipal agencies and city businesses. We are to address the issue of interaction between all those actors. I am an alumnus of the RANEPA, and I'm proud of this. My colleagues also have been exposed to the training in this illustrious institution, and the idea is to obtain new skills, new knowledge, new competences to be applied later in our actual work. Now, we are moving to smart cities technologies, smart city concepts, and in doing this, we are to be able to manage the situation properly. We work together very efficiently with Schneider Electric, some other international companies. In fact, thanks to our contacts with Schneider Electric, we did energy audit of a major municipal enterprise, our water supply company. The idea was to bring it to a new level of corporate governance and to introduce new technologies. Ksenia absolutely correctly mentioned one issue we all face, and that is lack of financial resources. This is very relevant for regional and even more relevant at the municipal level. However, our contacts that we've established allow us to pursue a different modernization route, whereby we employ digital technologies. And this is where UNIDO support is extremely valuable. We also lean on the experience of Russian agencies and bodies. And I think it would be wrong not to employ their capabilities. For a number of years, in fact for 2 years, we've been working together with major companies to improve and upgrade our city lighting system based on smart grid technology. The ultimate goal is to revamp our entire city lighting system. Altogether, we have 24,000 light posts, and we intend to use light diodes to save energy and to save costs. Such major projects are supposed to produce major impact. Today, at the municipal level, we provide development drivers, and we expect a response from our population. Thank you.
Thank you, Oleg. Very interesting indeed. The difficulties that you have faced, they keep coming up time and again. You said that you start with the transformation of the management system. Let me refer to what Ksenia said. A smart city and a smart technology are two different things, no doubt about it. What makes a city smart? Besides all these technologies that we're using, it's smart management. In this context, what Astrakhan is doing is very interesting indeed. Do we have any immediate questions for the presenter? We can take one or two. Okay, then let us leave questions till later. And now I will pass the floor to Alexander Danilin of Microsoft. he's responsible for CityNext project. Thank you so much. I would like to start my presentation by showing you what has been happening in IT domain, how public administrations use information technologies. Once in 5 years, we have seen a change in IT paradigm in public administration. Starting from year 2000, they started talking about e-government. Then the new theme was integrated government. Then the next most popular thing was open government. Then around 2015, they started talking about digital government. And in Russia, we are about 6 to 8 years behind some other countries. Public Services Portal has only been launched in December 2009. Now, e-government has been a very popular topic for quite some time. I can tell you that smart cities and smart regions are some of the main and most important directions of discussions in the field of digital transformation and digital economy. The changes that we see, the smart cities projects are based on use of five key technology trends that you see on the left-hand side of this chart. Cloud computing, big data analytics, mobility, social communications, and another very important thing used in smart cities is Internet of Things. Let me use one quote. Big data generated by IoT is exactly what makes cities smart. That is very important. At every phase of development, we have seen different types of infrastructure. And we use this infrastructure, railways, power plants. I found it interesting that the first hydropower plant was built in 1892 in Russia. Pipelines, mobile communications, airports. We know about all those things. In the digital economy, in smart cities, we need new types of infrastructure. That is cloud computing, digital infrastructure, smart cloud computing. At the bottom right-hand side, you can see one data center, one of Microsoft data centers. This gives you an idea of the kind of smart infrastructure for cloud computing. Why this is important, I'm going to tell you. There are many definitions of a smart city. We are all experts here, so I won't go into that. I have a collection of probably a couple of dozens definitions. We all intuitively understand what we're talking about, though. Very often, people say, what are the benefits? What are the outcomes? I tried to look into that too. Feasibility studies for such projects may be quite challenging. Look at some of the benefits that we see in different parts of the world. Smart cities, 30% energy savings, operational savings. Look at energy consumption, water consumption, transport. There are a lot of things that can be measured, and based on that, we can have a good and clear feasibility study. In a digital economy in general, there is yet another model that has been once developed by Microsoft based on open macroeconomic information available from the World Bank. We apply this model to Russia. And according to this model, a digital economy would bring about, if Russia moved from level 2, according to Gartner, to level 4, the benefits in 10 different areas in public administration, transport, healthcare, education, energy generation, I am showing you only the digital related outcomes, and I came up with $43 billion per annum. Um, is that a lot or not? Well, I guess none of us have ever had that kind of money in our pocket. We're talking about 2.4% of GDP, and that is an attainable goal. That's what we can get from smart cities, smart regions, and digital economy in Russia. If you want to know more, I can share my charts with you or send my presentation by email. How we can do all this? What is a reference infrastructure for a smart city or a smart region? This is a chart with a lot of information, but let's look at the top. We need to create IT systems, digital administration, security, transport, traditional systems, and innovative systems that should be put in place. The lower level is databases, existing and new, that will support all of the above. There is an important function of integration. Analytics would bring about a lot of benefits. So integration is essential. At the bottom, we have a city level ICT network that will support mobile access and support IoT. This is another infrastructure layer. Of course, we will be using mobile communications, social communications, using all kinds of devices. There will be a digital platform, data centers, smart cloud computing that will provide added value services essential for smart cities. This is not just VMs with huge computing power and huge storage capacities. These are gateways to IoT. We offer about 56 services that are essential for smart cities. So we're faced with a dilemma. Either we build this infrastructure at the city level, at the country level, or every organization will do it on its own. And this is going to be very expensive, very costly, and the solutions will be very complex technically. Cloud technologies are essential for building digital cities and digital economy. A smart city is not just one product. It's not just a pool of computing resources. We see that companies use these innovative solutions quite often. Here you see a typical infrastructure with a lot of different sensors, cameras, Internet of Things, gateways that bring data together from different sources. All of that is sent to the cloud, and based on cloud computing, people will build and deploy a lot of smart solutions. We need economies of scale, and we need to have good functionality. We need to have cloud services. On the economic side, I have not seen such comparisons before, and I was wondering what Microsoft solutions could do to help in this domain. In Russia, starting from last year, 2016, there's about 30,000 racks. We don't have the number of servers. If somebody rents a rack, we don't know whether they rent the whole rack or just a half of it. However, bringing all this together, I can tell you that a full rack is about 30 servers. So Microsoft Cloud infrastructure is about 30,000 racks. The biggest data center suppliers are Rostelecom. They have 3,900 racks. in all of the country, we have the number of racks that is similar to what Microsoft has. Look at the economy of scale. The cost of infrastructure will get lower by the order of magnitude as you get more. So you can either use what companies like Microsoft can offer or other providers like Rostelecom, and you can scale this infrastructure further. There's one interesting question. How much does it cost to build a smart city? I have seen some interesting estimates. This is fresh data that is focused on a hypothetical city with 250 to 500,000 residents. With a given population density, basic telecom infrastructure, surveillance, cameras, sensors, computers, applications. We have seen that their estimate of the cost is 20 to 30 million US dollars. I have tried to scale that up to Moscow and St. Petersburg. For Moscow, I came up with the cost of base infrastructure of 490 to 1,500 million US dollars. A few takeaways. Alexander, we're running out of time. This is my final chart. Smart cities are an important part of the general movement towards a digital economy. We need to offer broad availability of infrastructure for smart computing. We need to build that in Russia. We need to use international solutions in different combinations. Without that, things will either take forever or will get very expensive. Thank you very much. Extremely interesting. To follow up on this line of what a smart city is and what it consists of. Good management is very important, and we need to have lots of services. We need analytics, we need services, we need reporting. Microsoft is very active working in this domain in different parts of the world. Azure has become a standard for many countries and many organizations. Thank you so much. Now I'm passing the floor to Artak Makaryan, who is a business development manager at Utracanis. Can you please make it short so that we have some time for Q&A and comments? I have a few charts that will support my presentation on our vision of smart cities and associated technologies. Before I tell you how we define smart, I want to understand what are the pain points, what are the challenges that we're facing. How relevant is this whole topic of smart cities? There are 3 or 4 points that I would like to address. There's definitely a lot more, but in the interest of time, let me just mention growing energy consumption over a population of cities and environmental concerns. This is a suburban train. People are going to a city looking for a better life. The infrastructure must be far behind the level where it needs to be. They probably need 3 or 4 level planes. This is another picture for the Chinese economy to continue to grow. They burn a lot of coal. How much more coal do they need to burn to support their needs? We see environmental pollution. Our parents have been using simple bags when they went grocery shopping. Today we use plastic bags and we throw them away. They're disposable. There's a lot of talk about smart cities. India wants to build 100 smart cities. We know that 88 smart cities will be built by 2025. These are cities that will meet smart city requirements. There are different sets of criteria and different people define smart cities differently. In this specific rating, you see this list, and I trust these people. Smart technologies, what are they? There's lots of them out there, but they belong to three groups: ICT technologies, IoT technologies, and data collection and data centers. This is a picture from a presentation that has been made in Dubai for D3 project. They are going to deploy about 130 different solutions. We have to take a broad look at the situation. When we're talking about a smart city, there are many things to look at. Human capital, social aspects, economy, public administration, security, comfort for visitors, mobility, environment, city transport, level of technology. You see that there is no single city that would be number one in all categories, or that would end up in the top three in all these areas. Now, let us look at the Finnish vision of a smart city. I worked for a Finnish company, and Tampere is one of the most advanced cities, not only in Finland but in all of Europe. The city's motto is to grow smart together. People in Tampere understand that growth is essential, but it has to be done in a smart way. And to do it in a smart way, we have to do it together. So people in Tampere are focused in four main domains: smart production, smart healthcare, smart administration, smart mobility, smart energy, and smart buildings. Ranta Tampela, an interesting project that they have done in the city. They used to have this road to Helsinki, and it created a big depressed area. Smart solutions that were implemented together with the local authorities have helped to put this road underground into a tunnel, and this whole area was completely transformed. Now they have piers, now they have nice areas. The place has become attractive for local people. People come here, and it's great and important to do something that people will like. Next project that I would like to share with you. It is a very compact location, 130 passengers a day, over 8,000 jobs. They have everything in that region. They have shopping malls, they have offices, they have residential buildings. You don't need to travel anywhere. You can walk to places or take a bicycle. The place itself is the second city center, and it's a transport hub, 20 minutes away from the airport and 10 minutes away from the historic city center. Artak, I'm sorry, will you please start coming to the conclusions, so that we have time for others? Just a few words about the philosophy of this project. This is one of the first real smart cities, Kaseva Noha. It all is based on three main pillars. That is working with the environments, building new industries, health and longevity. People who live in the area live healthy lives. Um, and they play a lot of sports too, by the way. They use AEMS system. It is linked to all city services that use energy, and it's all controlled and monitored from one single center, not just apartments or buildings. It's all, everything, end to end, is looked at a district level. My funnel chart, which brings me to the end of my presentation, if I may. Kalasattama, smart services. The save 1 hour a day for every resident. We play with smart services. We support collaboration between small and big businesses, and we support innovations and startups. More than 15 minutes a day we give to residents of smart cities. It's very important to see that residents are in the focal point of smart city projects, healthcare, environmental protection. Those are the kinds of things that smart cities care for. People live in harmony with nature. Now, let me pass the floor to Nikolay Marin of IBM. Please make it brief because we have another presentation by Kaspersky Labs. I'm Nikolay Marin, and I am a tech leader for CME region. I'm an architect and I work for IBM. I am a member of the Technology Academy, which plays a big role in the development of the company's strategy. Smart cities is one of our lines of business, and it has been for at least 20 years. In my brief presentation, I'm going to address the issues that have been put as subjects for discussions. Obsolete infrastructure versus innovations. What is the right approach, and where do we start, and where we should take it? I only have 5 minutes, so I will give you 5 quick stories. One, a fresh project in Madrid. City authorities well, let me start by saying that smart city is not a goal; it's a tool for sustainable development. For sustainable development in Madrid, they need to keep the city green, and they also need to have good utilities for the city, like garbage and trash removals. The city is very keen on these things, on the utility services, on clean water supply. There's a transition from hundreds of contracts to a few dozens of contracts. There is now a system controlled by IBM. This system gets data on the quality of different services. We get data on garbage collection from trash cans in the streets. We have garbage trucks traveling right on schedule, and city residents can make a contribution to improved quality of service. There's a system of fines. The city gets about €1 million in fines, and that is also a part of the system. We have several performance indicators, and that helps citizens to get to know more about what the city does for the environment. Another example, Barcelona. Antonio Vives, who was deputy mayor of Barcelona, took several steps to change Barcelona. He wanted to create a pedestrian area in the city. He thought that he would end up standing in front of a firing squad when he was launching this project. Barcelona and London, according to this gentleman, are the cities with the highest price of advertisement per square foot, while this gentleman was a deputy mayor. The revenues from city street advertisements grew very significantly, and this money was spent on a smart city project. They have improved the quality of many services without spending extra money. Another example from Dublin, the city with a lot of old infrastructure, and legacy infrastructure had to be used together with the latest technologies. They have a lot of universities in the city, which is interesting for Russia. They have a research lab that is focused on smart city projects. In different parts of the world, we see that 80% of all data is raw data or blind data. Machines know that this data is out there. Machines know that the data is stored, but it cannot interpret the data. In Dublin, they saw exactly that. 80% of the data needed for decision making was there, and there was no need to smart up the city again. Put in place new sensors to measure lots of different parameters. This is what slows down many smart city projects. We have analyzed the existing data. We have looked at the operation of the utility systems, public transportation systems, and we were able to improve the effectiveness of those services, and we have been able to improve the way things work, and we also made a lot of the data better available. That launched a lot of new interesting projects. People stopped leaving Dublin, going to other cities like London. Now young people stay in Dublin. They start their businesses. The city has become younger. People who are born and raised in Dublin stay there and enjoy it. Rio de Janeiro is another example. They built a brand new city center for various public services. This center works 3 shifts a day. They collect data on all kinds of city events. They collect a lot of weather data. This is critical for them because they suffer from tropical rains and mudslides. People have died because of that. So it was important to monitor the situation. When the center was put in place, it was coordinating a lot of different activities that raise the level of safety. Eventually, the level of investment that Rio de Janeiro has seen has increased dramatically. The level of safety and security in the city is now much better. Another example is New York. IBM has its headquarters in New York. That's where the company was incorporated 105 years ago. The level of digitalization in New York is much lower than many people think. It's lower than in Moscow. I'm talking about things like access to internet, public Wi-Fi, and the overall number of services. We have done a lot in this city with the data that was already there. We have analyzed the movement of police cars, and we have been able to optimize the police routes, and that contributed to reduction of crime rates because the police officers are now where they need to be, and that positively affected the crime situation by a large number.
From basic services to digital services offered in the city toward cognitive approach when a car using a cloud assists residents in meeting their needs, cultural needs, in fact, any needs. And this is something that brings up their welfare. What's Up is headquartered in New York, and this is where we test all the new approaches. Now, with the fairly low level of digitalization in New York, the city is extremely attractive for investors, and people from New Orleans, for instance, all the jazz community has moved to New York exactly because it is a comfortable city. This is where culture is accessible and available, and the city hears you. Now I want to move from global experience to our local experience, and we cooperate with St. Petersburg, with cities in Siberia, such as Novosibirsk. We work with Tatarstan. There's a huge center of strategic outsourcing that we deployed in Tatarstan. Now, the first lessons learned would be as follows. It's crucial to see a vision where we want to get to. And this is where we saw some good cases of Moscow, St. Petersburg, Ulyanovsk. This vision should be accompanied by milestones that would allow us to see whether we achieve our objectives. Besides, we have to have quick wins. The projects that we may call successful in terms of smart cities, they all had realistic, tangible outcomes within 6 months, quick wins. Unless we have such quick wins within 6 months' time, not in terms of statistics or data, unless people see for themselves that things are changing for the better, well, smart city projects normally are not able to proceed beyond that point. Sponsors lose interest to those projects. Each city should distinguish itself, should find its unique feature, its unique value proposition. Cities compete for education, for human capital, for resources, both regional and local, and it is crucial for the cities to identify their key competences and target those smart technologies to make full use of this competence so that people could benefit from it. It's not about producing a new resource. It's not about extracting some products. No, this is about a competence that residents of the city could benefit from. These are the lessons we learned for ourselves, and we think that they are very much applicable here in this country. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Nikolay. A most interesting presentation, extremely exciting projects, and useful experience, I think. I'm sure on the margins of this meeting we'll be able to discuss this at length. And the last speaker would be Andrey Suvorov from Kaspersky Lab. The topic that we tend to overlook somehow, it's about information security. When we're talking smart cities, we should be mindful of huge information volumes, and this is where security is paramount. Thank you. I will try to make it within 8 minutes. I will try to be even faster. One thing we did not mention at all, and this is cybersecurity for smart cities. This is something that should have been very much present in all the presentations. I'll be as specific as possible. Now, this is a story that evolves extremely fast. We're moving into digital Middle Ages, if I may say so. Let's take some statistics for major cybercrime instances. I can mention 3 of those. It's a full, complete blackout in 6 Ukrainian regions. It is a theft of over $70 million from the Central Bank of Bangladesh. A clerk identified a grammar mistake, otherwise some 900 million would have been stolen. And finally, it's a theft of about $70 million from a Bitcoin exchange. Well, this sounds funny, but that's a fact of life. In fact, verbal interventions and gossips about hackers, about cyber crimes are many, but I don't have much time today, and therefore I'd like to narrow down on smart cities only. Well, many of you deal with this issue. You implement those concepts, you develop those concepts, and I encourage you to read an article put together by our experts. The article is called "How to Fool Smart Cities," and the article contains the outcomes of research done by our two smart guys. They looked at the various solutions implemented in Russian cities and globally. And mostly they refer to the kiosks through which government services are provided at movie theaters, at healthcare facilities. And I encourage you to have a look at this article, because such applications as used in those kiosks are extremely vulnerable. They are very easy to hack, and this can damage your reputation big way. Another thing that is covered by the article is surveillance cameras and the use of those cameras. And our researchers very quickly managed to get access to the surveillance cameras networks, and they could manipulate the logic of the operation. And if this is achieved, well, the perpetrators would be free to use such networks at will. This is a very practice-oriented article dealing exclusively with smart cities and threats to smart cities. I, in my presentation, would like to focus more on cyber systems deployed in smart cities. Alexander mentioned that the greatest impact could be obtained thanks to introducing systems to manage water supply, transport, and others. Well, those are the systems that are extremely vulnerable today. Now, if we talk about smart cities where information goes from point A to point B, and if we ask our grannies, our students to do some self-service, well, this is a thing of the past. Now we're entering an age where we try to take into account information coming from physical assets in our decision making, and cybersecurity here is crucial. Unfortunately, we've got a lot of examples of when a smart city, San Francisco, for instance, having a light rail system, suffered from an attack. The whole system went dead, and a ransom was demanded, and the city had to pay. In fact, any project implemented in a smart city can be destroyed. Its reputation could be damaged for years by an attack, a perpetrator's attack. But I'd like to be positive in my conclusions. I'm a member of a working group called Business Strategies and Innovations for the International Internet Consortium, and last year a very good paper was issued, and I encourage you to visit our website. The paper deals with a business strategy and innovations framework. The paper outlines 4 groups of issues to be addressed if you seriously consider a smart city or a smart region project. What is to be done in order to ensure cybersecurity and physical security. So the 2 documents I encourage you to have a look at. First is the article on how to fool smart cities, and the other one is the paper on how to build a major system with industrial internet. Thank you. Thank you very much, Andrey. A most interesting and pertinent presentation. You know, when we talk about a smart city, we should not forget about the risks we have to thwart and avoid, including in information security area. Those risks that can in fact negate all the benefits from a smart city. Now, we're about to wrap up. We still have about 5 minutes before we have to leave this room so that another session could take place. Any comments? Any questions? Anyone? Last comments? Please. Oh, a question. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Microphone, please. No microphone, no interpretation. Microphone, please. I think this question should go to the regions. Svetlana, Oleg. Look, we're pretty open in terms of sharing data, with the exception of data on crime. In fact, all the information, all the data we collect over a week, let's say information on avoiding emergencies, well, we make this information public. Look, there is one more issue here. We got to understand who's going to be using this information. There were many cases when decisions were made based on such data, and the data itself is shared by various platforms, various solutions, and this is where we can do this. I think Anna speaks about the access rights. I mean, not all the data should be available to anybody. There must be some constraints, some limits, but anyway, in principle it is possible. It is possible to get access to all the data. Any other questions or comments? Please. I got a question to Mr. Mahmoud. I wonder, what are the activities that you plan to implement in the future? What are the activities of the International Association of Real Estate Professionals plans to implement, and where we could have a look at the information about smart cities and your future actions in this field? Thank you.
The National Association of Realtors is from India, but it's not connected with the smart cities. There's a special website for Smart Cities of India, the Government of India website. You could access all the information that you need from there. But if you have any specific questions on something else, I would share my card with all of you here in the room, and you could write to me as we have paucity of time, and I could be able to be more than glad to share whatever information that we have.
Спасибо.
Colleagues, once again, thank you all. Thank you very much indeed for your participation. Oh, one more? One last question? We still have time? Yeah, sure. One last question, please. Microphone, please. I don't think that you should refer this question to me. Yeah, this is the city of Zelenodolsk I referred to, and this is a capital of innovation for us. They've got a lot of projects. They've implemented, they piloted a lot of projects there. In fact, I can tell a lot of good things about the city. Well, I think this is a question that doesn't have to do with smart cities technologies. It was a kind of provoking question. I understand your desire to liven things up. Anyway, I think that we have had a very lively discussion. Once again, colleagues, thank you very much indeed. Thank you for all your contributions and your interventions. I'm sorry for driving you hard, but we had to meet the deadline. I think the discussion proved extremely useful. Thanks again, and I encourage you to meet bilaterally and in informal setting. Thank you.